All right, let's get specific about y'all. Okay, your job description. I cannot say this enough, loud enough, clear enough. You possess an incredible amount of influence at camp. Okay, not only do you form the deepest relationship with kids, you are also the key piece that interprets and enacts this vision that we've discussed, right, about God having a calling. You make it real in kids' lives. And so let's talk about how you do that. What are we asking you to do? Okay, we are asking you to do kind of four things: to model camp life. This is how kids learn, right? To participate with and as the campers do. Follow the rules as campers do. Show kids how that works. What does it look like? 2, keep kids safe, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Okay, I'm gonna break these four pieces down for you in a moment, but let's go through all four. Number 3, manage your own behavior, your own emotions, so that you can help kids with theirs. I think if there's one critical piece around behavior management, kind of this idea of discipline, if you like that word, it's this. It's that you being in charge of your emotions, having a plan of your own, a system to work through, goes a long way with behavior management for kids and especially for groups of kids. And then finally, number 4, y'all are Captain Fun. Okay, you are the tone setters for fun, and so we will talk about the value of that and how you do it. Okay, so now we will go through those four pieces with one more level of clarity. Camp life. Okay, kids are watching you. You'll feel their eyes right there. Their eyes are on you for behavioral cues. How do we act here? And for attitudinal cues. Okay, they're watching. How do you follow the rules? How do you feel about following the rules? How do you speak to other people? How do you listen to other people? How do we participate in classes, in chapel activities? How do you win or how do you lose at games? Okay, how do you respond if, like, Cassie asks you to do something? How do you take correction? How do you encourage other people? Okay, because the reality is, as you do those things, it's easier, healthier. It makes more sense to kids that they would then do those things when you ask them to do it. And so this is kind of the idea that all the rules we ask kids to follow, we are asking you as cabin leaders to follow too. The one that kids usually don't ask about that it applies to you is we do ask that you as cabin leaders stay on campus the whole week. There are no like running to town trips, so we do have a few staff members who can get you something if that happens. But we ask you to stay on campus. I'm going to show you now the rules that the kids are asked to follow so that you know exactly what we're talking about here. Okay, the camp rules. Number 1, be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Okay, we do ask everyone to participate in all of the things so that we show up at everything. As cabin leaders, it's your job to get all of your kids to things. Again, I am here to support you. I am here to help you with that if challenges arise, but this is a participation is we're all in. Okay? Number 2, treat other people how you want to be treated. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Maybe it's a little harder to do it on day 4 or 5 of camp. And so again, we will try to resource you along the way. Number 3, respect the property and feelings of others. I think the specific thing that comes up here around this respect the property piece is that we do ask kids to not go into other kids' cabins, to stay in their own cabin. Okay, so sometimes that'll come up and we just say, oh, we just wait outside of other kids' cabins instead of going in them. And same thing is true for your cabin. Number 4 says wear your shoes at all times, unless you are in the lake, in the shower, or in your cabin. You might note I did not say on your way to the lake or on the way to the shower. This is a good one that just, we ask people to stay on it, to say yes to this all the time. It's a safety issue. Kids will be on the way to the lake and be like, bah. So we just send them back to their cabin. Get your shoes on, get your shoes on. This is like a great example of how everybody being on the same page solves this problem much faster than if we let things slide. We just ask kids to do this. Okay, number 5, follow camp staff instructions. We ask kind of your support as a cabin leader when camp staff either asks you to do something. We ask for a yes. And then if kids are asked to do something by a camp staff member, we'd ask that you'd support them and encourage them to do that. Same thing, I promise when I ask you things to be generous and kind and respectful, but also I'm going to hold you accountable to those things, and I expect and encourage you to talk back to me if things don't seem fair or if things don't seem doable. Okay? Number 6, keep a great attitude. Right? We say, Holy Spirit, Help us, right? Help us on day 4, help us on day 5 to be able to do that because we believe it matters for kids and their experience. Okay. This number 2, safety. Keep kids safe mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. I'm going to give you a little more juice on this in a later training on the mental, emotional, spiritual side. Right now, I want to talk to you about the physical side, okay? On the physical safety note, all right, you are a little bit in a parental role this week, which means you get to do things like remind kids to wear sunscreen and drink water at every meal. A lot of cabin leaders just say, yeah, at least 1 glass of water at every meal. And then you get to sit there a while, you know. But it's a good practice. I'd encourage you to do it. There will be kids in your cabin who need meds. You can really help the nurse out if you kind of keep track of who those kids are and when they need to go. You will send them to the nurse to go get their meds in the morning or after meals. The nurse will make sure you learn where her cabin is on day 1. You can find me or you can find another cabin leader. Make sure you know where that is, and then she's often around at activities. You know, she gets it. Crazy games, she'll be there. And emergency stuff. Okay, you'll have to see some things on the physical site depending on what cabin you are in for like tornado responses or for fire responses. There will be gathering areas depending on where your cabin is. So we can touch base on that on Monday. Okay, there are some COVID protocols. Okay, you ready for a list? Get ready. There are some COVID protocols that we are abiding by in our cabins. We're sleeping head to toe. You can pause this if you'd just rather read it than not listen to me. We are doing some cleaning every day. I would encourage you to delegate. Get some kids helping you out with this. We're going to wipe down doorknobs, bathrooms, and other areas. Okay, once in the morning and once before bed. In the morning, there will be a temperature check, okay? A staff member will show up. Cabin leaders also just be on the lookout, right? If somebody looks like they need a temperature check, let's be vigilant about getting them one. Okay, and mask situation, again, could change by Monday. Who knows right now? But right now we're saying when we're in that chapel in a large group setting, we're going to ask people to wear their masks. A lot of our stuff is outside, and so no masks outside is no problem. And again, just be posted. It could happen. Hand washing. We'll just hand wash. I don't need to say more about that. You'll get some sanitizer too. This is a change from previous years. Kitchen duty, dining hall stuff. We do not have interns this year. So we are going to clean our own tables, wipe off our own tables, and then we'll try to sit at our own tables during each meal. Okay? That is all we need for now with physical safety. And we'll come back to the other pieces. You guys are doing great. All right, and then this third behavioral piece, the expectation, we will talk more about that in later training, but I want to just plant the seed that our why for this. Why am I asking you to manage your own behavior? And it's because of this. It's a Jim Fay idea that our kid's self-concept, it gets developed from the influence of people who matter in a kid's life, and you will matter in kids' lives this week. The magic people who model appropriate behavior, and by the very way that they think or speak or act, those actions affect who the child turns out to be. Okay, so I believe it's a real big deal. The person you are for kids is going to dictate a little bit the reactions, the responses that you get from them. So I'm praying that for you right now. Holy Spirit is going to help us to be that kind of human for kids, this magic kind of human who responds with grace and love and patience. It can be hard. We can do it. And then finally, your most fun job, right? Some of you are so good at this. It just blows my mind. You are Captain Fun this week. Okay, you set the tone. You set the tone for the way kids respond to games that they maybe aren't sure they're gonna like. Captain Fun says, oh, it's gonna be fun. Captain Fun says we can maybe make a race to drop our Bibles off at the chapel before class. Captain Fun says I can turn my tuna fish sandwich into, I don't know, right? The creativity, you guys have a gift for this. Disney calls it optimizing the mundane, right? Just turning these small everyday moments into a chance for fun. And so the collective doing of that really does set a tone. I think camp is magical in this way. All right. Well, y'all are going to miss this. You can do a skit alone in your house if you want, but we're going to try to practice some of those things specifically around when kids need some help with safety protocols. What are we going to say? What are we going to do? How can we be Captain Fun throughout the day? So maybe think about a few things, a few ideas you have for being fun. All right, let's wrap this up. We'll get back to number 3.